Brodes Media.
Welcome, my friends. Hello, hello, hello. If you are new to the channel, there's nothing else I would love more than a nice little hit the subscribe button, maybe a thumbs up, maybe a comment as well. I greatly appreciate it. We have Coffee with Brodes live streams back in action. We're about 2 months in, and it is beautiful. Can't thank you all enough. How you get access to it is you join the YouTube community membership here for $4.99 a month, and then every Monday and Thursday at 11 a.m., we have our coffee together, and then we also have our Discord chat. All the information is down below in the description if you're interested. And lastly, I'll plug this in as well. Apple Podcast, Spotify, Google Podcast. If you want to bring me in the car with you, I don't see why you wouldn't want to. You can. Make sure you subscribe over there. Leave a 5-star rating and a review. Thank you guys so much and enjoy the show.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome on into Bleacher Report Live. And before you know it, we're going to get the Eagles schedule. We're going to be talking about W's and L's. We're going to be breaking down what we think their record could be. But before we get there, let's take a look at these rookies that will be entering their first season with the Philadelphia Eagles and kind of touch on who we feel is underrated, who we think can make a significant impact. And, you know, I want to start with our offensive line because Jeff Stoutland is a machine. This guy is absurd. Then is incredible. And knowing he is so smooth when it comes to getting guys at a collegiate level, getting his hands on them, teaching them all the information, showing the technique, they all work. They all work. They all seem to dominate. Look what Howie Roseman did this offseason. Everyone's like, wow, Saquon Barkley. Wow, CJ Gardner-Johnson. Wow, Quinyon Mitchell and Cooper DeJean. And we'll touch on those guys in just 1 second. But they shored up the left side of their line in Landon Dickerson and Jordan Mailata. So the reason I bring that up is something that's flying under the radar a bit, and I know this town loves their offensive lineman, and I do believe he will get the recognition once we see the big fellas in the trenches doing their work. But, man, Tyler Steen, and sure, he was here last season, but my man played 1 game. So for me, that doesn't count. All right, he hasn't really got in there yet to really blossom, really get going, really solidify himself, and reasonably so. When Jason Kelce was playing center, Cam Jurgens, the 50th replacement that you drafted for Jason Kelce, he finally gets to slide over. But last season, he was playing guard, Cam Jurgens, that is, so there wasn't this opportunity for Tyler Steen. Let it be known, this kid could play. I think they have a lot of faith in this kid. I think they put a lot of stock into this kid because, let's be honest, they value the trenches so much. For them to not go hot and heavy O-line early, for them to not explode in the first or second round, to do what they did in years past. Think about what they did when they went and got a Landon Dickerson, what they did when they went and got a Cam Jurgens. The reason I don't feel like they went and attacked it with the same killer mindset, part of it is some of the ones that they were interested in went prior, whether it was Mims from Georgia or anybody else up there, whatever, whoever it was. They got selected prior, and the draft board fell to you with corners and the attraction of the secondary pieces there. Part of it is that, but also the other part is I think they have a lot of trust and a lot of belief in Tyler Steen, and I think that he might be my number 1 underrated rookie for this season. Even though he was here last year and played 1 game, I'm viewing that as an underrated rookie for me. And the Cooper DeJean and Quinyon Mitchell thing is fascinating because I think they're properly rated, right? I don't think they're underrated. One guy was a first-round draft pick that was projected to go maybe in the teens in Mitchell. He falls to 22. This kid's going to be a stud. Cooper DeJean was a first-round talent who slipped to the second round. This guy's going to be incredible. So I don't really label them as underrated. I think that they are properly rated. These kids are going to flourish. These guys are going to make plays. Quinyon Mitchell will eventually be a number 1 corner in this league and take over for Darius Slay at one time. But for the time being, he gets to learn under Darius Slay. He gets to see how Slay attacks day in and day out, how he gets going in the offseason, how he attacks the the OTAs and the training camp. Sorry, I lost my train of thought there. Training camp and the preseason, getting the body ready. And all right, now you see A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith in practice every single day. This is what it's going to be like. If you're going to make it in this league and you're going to be a shutdown number one guy, you have to be able to stop AJ. You have to stop Devontae. You got to stop these cats, and it's not easy, and there's going to be some learning moments for sure, but I believe they're properly rated because, well, I expect them to be a significant piece to the Eagles' core when we look out into the future, right? Because I just experienced one of the greatest Eagles runs in my lifetime at 28 years old, and part of that is because they had Brandon Graham, Fletcher Cox, Lane Johnson, Jason Kelsey. These are the core guys that I grew up with, and they have made playoff runs after playoff runs. They've been in Super Bowl games. They've hosted NFC Championship games. Well, they are now starting to end their careers. It's over. Fletcher Cox, Jason Kelsey, they say goodbye. We will not be putting on uniforms anymore. So now that they are not here, who is going to be those next core guys? And I feel Quinyon Mitchell, Cooper DeJean could be that. So I don't know if they're necessarily underrated in my eyes. I'm trying to find maybe some under the radar pieces. So let's go here, right? Because when you take a look at our draft and you see the running back Shipley from Clemson, because Saquon Barkley was added in the offseason, and he's clearly going to get a lot of carries, a lot of receptions too. You paid him a lot of cash, and the reason you pay him a lot of cash is to do a lot of dirty things on that football field and to get the football in his hands. But there is an element of having a rotation. There is an element of a different wave, a different runner, a different guy, something to keep the other team on their toes, something spry, something different. I like Will Shipley a lot. I think this kid's a dog. I think this kid could play. I think this guy can make an impact. I really do. I understand because Barkley's going to get majority of the play, and he's going to get majority of the time. That's why you paid him. But let's not devalue that tiny chunk that might be given to other names. There is still going to be a rotation, especially if you're trying to keep Saquon Barkley upright throughout the length of the year. And there's probably going to be games. Let's look at it this way. All right, forget the close games, fourth quarter, one possession, who's getting the ball. No Kenneth Gainwell, 2-minute drills, none of that crap, right? But let's say here you're blowing out a team because Kellen Moore knows what he's doing and he's not Nick Sirianni who's clueless offensively. Let's say Vic Fangio knows what he's doing and he's not clueless like Matt Patricia was defensively. So you're just kicking teams' asses and you're being dynamic and you're up by 2 touchdowns, fourth quarter, maybe 3 touchdowns. You're kicking ass, baby. You're doing Eagles football level stuff. And now it's the fourth quarter with 10 minutes to go. Saquon can kick it. They show Saquon Barkley on the heated bench with both of his feet up and his hands behind his back or behind his head, chilling like he's Kendrick Lamar right now while Drake has no idea what's happening. He's Kendrick. He's got both feet up just chilling. And here's Shipley dancing around in the backfield going to work. All right, so I'm not just talking about maybe close game. Hey, you need someone capable back there, and he makes some noise. He makes some splashes. He runs in between the tackles. He makes people miss. He dances. I like Will Shipley. I do. I think that there's something for him in a role here this season. Which brings us to our Bleacher Report poll here of the chat. And what rookie are you most excited to watch? Quinyon Mitchell, Cooper DeJean, Jeremiah Trotter Jr., which I think probably just from fan appreciation and what numbers he going to wear. 54s. Okay. So just the excitement level from the fan base, obviously, I think tickles the fancy more than anybody else. But that would be your third option you can vote for, or Shipley, who I don't think will win this battle. I think just in regards to pop, in regards to swag, in regards to who's going to be a fan favorite. I believe Quinyon Mitchell is going to be the best of all of these, but I do think Cooper DeJean carries himself with this energy. I do think that there's an arrogance about him. There's a confidence about him. There's this playmaking ability that makes wow plays. I think he'll have the highlight reel level plays. So just in regards to who am I excited for the most, I think Cooper DeJean's the sex appeal of the style of play, the ball hawk ability in the secondary, getting a big pick, maybe even a pick six. It's going to be insanity from him. And he could play a lot of different positions too, which could put him in a lot of good spots on the field to succeed. You can do some flexibility. If there's a matchup you like more at the nickel, in the slot, if there's something that you like on the outside, if Slay goes down with an injury, has to miss a week or two, Quinyon Mitchell slides into CB1, Cooper DeJean CB2, although, asking two rookies to hold up the outsides is a little scary in my opinion. Still have no idea what Bradbury's going to do, but for a week or two, I'm saying if you need to get it done, whatever. I'm just saying you can put him in positions to thrive because you can look at what the other team has, and you can look at him at safety, you can look at him at CB2, you can look at him in the slot. You can do a lot here, and I'm pumped for it, man. I really am pumped for it. So continuing here with some of the underrated rookies, the only reason why I'm throwing Jeremiah Trotter Jr. on this list for me, and there's a lot of mixed bag when you look around the not necessarily the tape of Jeremiah Trotter, but I feel there's a wide range when you look at the experts and what they say he can be this year. There's a bunch that are optimistic that he's better than what his draft said he was, that he could probably definitely get in there sooner than some may think. He can add more than what some project. So there are some that are super high on Jeremiah Trotter and think his ceiling is higher than others. Then there are some that are going, his name matters. His name definitely has an impact. His last name is Trotter, and there's excitement about it. But there's holes in his game that if he does not clean up, and some of it might not be clean upable. Some of it might just be that's who he is. That's what his skill set is. That's his ceiling. So there's a lot of different ranges. But because they don't really value the position, and because the guys who are slotted in right now, in theory, is a Devin White who we watched get benched recently. I'm high on Devin White. I think he could be strong here. He's a true, legit linebacker, knows the position, has shown in this league that he's been very capable, and the bar's not super high here, so I don't think it'll be to the level where you have to bench him. But still, he's here, but he's an unknown, kind of. And Nakobe Dean's definitely an unknown. So the reason he makes my list, and I guess he gets the luxury of the lack of real assets burned into the linebacker position. But if there is nobody to step up, then there's an opportunity for him to make noise. And whether it's fair to others or not, there's always going to be something between Howie Roseman, Jeffrey Lurie, the love for this kid, the love for the Trotter family, the connection, and how strong it is. So they're pushing for this to succeed just as much as anybody else's. So does that give him some freedom and some flexibility, a longer leash, allowed to make mistakes, things of that nature? Maybe not, but maybe. The reason I put him on my underrated list is I just don't know who's an automatic. I don't really love Nakobe Dean. I don't. I'm sorry. Now, I'm not telling you he stinks. I'm not telling you he's bad. I'm just telling you I haven't seen enough to write him in as, that will work. I hope it can work, and I see things that make you feel it could work, but then I see a lot of things that go, I don't know if it can work. And if Nakobe Dean can't work, can Jeremiah Trotter Jr. slide in there and do something, make a little bit of noise? Excuse me, I had to clear my throat there, but just something to monitor. And now let's transition to something offensively, because that third wide receiver role is wide open. They initially attack it with Devontae Parker, and then you see all the reactions of that, hey, he can't get separation and this and that. And the Patriots have been so bad, so bad. It is very difficult for me to look at Devontae Parker and say that what he did when Joe Judge, or was it Joe Judge? No, wait, what was it, Matt Patricia? They had the one season where Matt Patricia and Joe Judge were both offensive coordinators. While Matt Patricia was a DC, Joe Judge, special teams guy, they're running your offense with Mac Jones, and I have to actually apply what happened there and say that's who Devontae Parker is as a number one when he's facing the best cornerbacks on the other team. Just something doesn't sit right with me in that department. Now, this isn't really about Devontae Parker. I'm just setting up my answer here on why I feel that maybe a draft pick this season from Texas A&M, Smith, wide receiver, might be able to have intriguing little moments here. All right? This is why. I don't think Devontae Parker is as bad as everybody else if he's playing wide receiver 3. And while the emphasis is on AJ, the emphasis is on Devontae, the emphasis is on Barkley, the emphasis is on Goddard, and then here's someone who gets to play against the other team's cornerback 9. And like, that's different, right? With a Kellen Moore offense, with Jalen Hurts, not Matt Patricia, not Mac Jones on a Patriots team that was insanely declining. But I'm just saying, they're not world beaters either. So with Paris Campbell, for example, they're taking flyers on third wide receivers. You'd think they go with some experience or whatnot, but they obviously drafted Smith for a reason. And I wonder, is there something you can do gadgety wise? Nobody's expecting it. Let him do something out of the ordinary, because it's not as if it is an automatic that a Campbell makes it or things of that nature. So it's just fascinating because there is something. I don't know why Mims keeps bringing up. Oh, because I typed in. I'm an idiot. I apologize. But I just feel that there's something from a gadget standpoint that it's trickery. You don't think it's coming. You pull something out of your rear end. You're in the red zone, and Smith is in there. You go, what the hell is going on here? I got to follow the ball. You can't follow the ball. Oh, Smith wide open in the back of the end zone on the left side. Someone fell asleep. Miscommunication at the line of scrimmage. There was so much movement. Hey, maybe we work something like that in there, huh? Maybe we work something like that. Hey, there was a play action that worked under center. Hey, maybe we work some of that in there, huh? Maybe we work some of that in there, huh? Instead of it always being out of shotgun with a read option, RPO style, let's get Jalen under center, which we've heard a little bit of dialogue between Howie Roseman and Nick Sirianni and what Kellen Moore can do for you. So you bring this in, you got him under center, you got a little play action, and the reason why it works is because you set that play up with previous plays and formations in the first quarter. Then by the third quarter, you make them pay. Gadget play, Smith Tutty. Let's go. I'm just saying, and I'm not talking Devontae here. All right? So just something. I know that's been thrown around a lot for a lot of the Texas A&M tape, is he could be a gadget guy, but just something to monitor. So those are my 4 names. I gave you 4 names for my underrated rookie list. Tyler Steen, even though he has 1 game played, he's making my list, damn it. Will Shipley, running back. Jeremiah Trotter Jr., based off of the position and the lack of assets more so than him. But I have to judge that, right? I mean, I have to look at the full body of work here. I got to look at the entire roster. I have to look at how they have thrown random guys in at linebacker throughout the last 5, 6, 7 years of my life, from Alex Singleton to Nate Gary to this and that. There's plenty of guys who have a billion flaws in their game that they have thrown into the mix and asked them to do a lot more than they were capable of. So if I've seen them do it in the past, I have to acknowledge that at some point they probably might with Jeremiah Trotter Jr. And if Nakobe Dean gets injured again, or if Devin White becomes unplayable again, then maybe that's something that you can do. It's more about the window being open than it is him. But just it's in there. It's in there. And then Aniyah Smith from Texas A&M, the wide receiver. Those are my names. I'm fascinated to hear all of yours. I can't thank everybody enough for kicking it here at Bleacher Report on the stream. You guys are beautiful, fantastic. I love you to death. We have some great content continuing to get pumped out here. We will have a schedule release party, of course, and react to the schedule release and go through our W's and L's because that's what us football guys do. And then a lot of Philly stuff as well. We got a fun month coming up. We always have fun months here, but we have a good one coming up. Thank you guys all so much. I love you to death, and I will see you all on the next one.